When Cadillac unveiled the Voyage concept in 1988, it wasn't simply showing off another futuristic show car. It was revealing a vision of what the company believed luxury automobiles could become in the decades ahead. At a time when Cadillac was still known for large, traditional sedans with sharp edges and formal styling, the Voyage looked like it had arrived from another era. Smooth curves replaced straight lines, glass covered nearly every surface, and the entire car embraced a bold aerodynamic philosophy that General Motors hoped would redefine the future of American luxury. Unlike conventional Cadillacs of the 1980s, the Voyage featured an unusually rounded body with almost no sharp creases. Designers referred to this as a no-line approach, allowing the overall shape rather than decorative details to define the car's appearance. Massive glass panels wrapped around the cabin, creating an incredibly open and airy atmosphere. Even the roof was made largely of glass, giving passengers a panoramic view that felt decades ahead of its time. The vehicle also featured fully skirted front and rear wheels. Even more impressive, the front wheel covers actually moved as the wheels turned, allowing the car to maintain its futuristic appearance without sacrificing steering ability. This dramatic design direction was championed by Chuck Jordan, General Motors Vice President of Design, who took over in the mid-1980s. Jordan believed the era of boxy three-box sedans was coming to an end. Instead, he wanted GM to embrace cleaner forms, softer surfaces, and highly aerodynamic styling that looked elegant rather than aggressive. The Voyage became one of the purest expressions of that philosophy. Without Cadillac's traditional vertical taillights or heavily sculpted bodywork, it looked more like a sleek aircraft fuselage than a conventional luxury sedan. Interestingly, the Voyage wasn't developed by Cadillac's normal production studio. Instead, it was created inside GM's Advanced Design Studios under designer Jerry Brockstein and his team. Their job wasn't to prepare production vehicles, but to imagine what future Cadillacs could become. Because they weren't restricted by manufacturing limitations, the designers had complete freedom to experiment with bold proportions, innovative materials, and radical engineering ideas. The result immediately captured attention when it appeared on the International Auto Show circuit in 1988. Critics praised its appearance, while many visitors believed Cadillac had finally found an exciting new direction for the future. Encouraged by the positive reaction, Cadillac introduced a second concept soon afterward, the stunning Cadillac Solitaire. While it shared the same overall design language as the Voyage, the Solitaire took the idea even further. Designed as a sleek or luxury coupe, it featured an elegant egg crate grille, integrated headlamps instead of pop-up lights, and even cleaner body surfaces. Both concept cars achieved an impressive aerodynamic drag coefficient of around 0.28. Remarkable for luxury vehicles of the late 1980s, their low hoods, sharply tapered front ends, high rear decks, and carefully sculpted bodies were all designed to reduce wind resistance while giving the cars a dramatic forward-moving stance. Walking around the Solitaire reveals just how different Cadillac's future could have been. The hood featured only a single center crease and opened as a large clamshell panel for easy engine access. The roofline flowed into an unusual basket handle-style B-pillar, while eliminating a traditional C-pillar almost entirely. Large wraparound glass panels surrounded the cabin, providing outstanding visibility in every direction. Unlike today's vehicles with thick roof pillars and small windows, the Solitaire embraced openness. Drivers would have enjoyed panoramic sightlines unlike almost anything available then or even today. The proportions were equally dramatic. The body widened significantly below the belt line before tapering inward toward the roof, creating a muscular yet elegant profile. Bright trim running along the lower body visually slimmed the car while emphasizing its long, graceful silhouette. Every line guided the eye from the pointed nose toward the raised rear deck, giving the impression that the car was moving even while standing still. Beneath that futuristic body sat equally ambitious engineering. The Solitaire carried a 6.6-liter Lotus-assisted Cadillac V12, producing around 430 horsepower. During the late 1980s, General Motors owned Lotus, allowing engineers from both companies to collaborate on advanced powertrain projects. The concept featured enormous 20-inch wheels, an almost unbelievable size during an era when most luxury cars still rode on 15-inch wheels. Quad exhaust outlets hinted at the V12's performance potential, while subtle V12 badging reminded everyone that this wasn't an ordinary Cadillac. Inside, the concept looked astonishingly modern. Heated and massaging seats promised exceptional comfort, while multiple electronic displays stretched across the dashboard years before digital dashboards became common. Instead of traditional mirrors, cameras were intended to provide rear visibility, another feature that has only become mainstream in recent years. Even the steering wheel controls and futuristic gear selector hinted at technologies that would eventually appear decades later. Although not every electronic feature functioned on the concept, the interior demonstrated just how far Cadillac was willing to imagine the future. Neither the Voyage nor the Solitaire was built on a normal production line. Both were handcrafted by Triad, a specialist company contracted by General Motors to transform design sketches into fully functional concept vehicles. Every panel, suspension component, and mechanical detail was individually fabricated, explaining why these cars look so refined despite never reaching production. Even today, considering they are more than 3 decades old, both concepts remain remarkably impressive. Unfortunately, these remarkable vehicles never entered showrooms. While elements of their styling eventually appeared on production Cadillacs, such as the early 1990 Seville, Fleetwood, and STS, the complete vision was never realized. Cost concerns, changing market priorities, and uncertainty about demand for expensive V12 luxury coupes kept the Voyage and Solitaire firmly in the world of concept cars. Cadillac later experimented with ambitious projects like the Cadillac 16, but once again, those dreams never reached production. Looking back today, it's hard not to wonder what might have happened if Cadillac had been brave enough to build either of these extraordinary cars. Even surrounded by modern SUVs and sharply folded crossover designs, the Voyage and Solitaire still appear fresh, elegant, and futuristic. Their clean, uninterrupted surfaces, expansive glass, and aerodynamic shapes remain striking decades later. They weren't simply concept cars, they were a glimpse into a future that almost existed, but never arrived. And perhaps that's exactly what makes them some of the most fascinating Cadillacs ever created.